Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for viewing my presentation today. Today, we will be discussing the German Lied von Ewiger Liebe by Johannes Brahms. Brahms was one of the most well-renowned and greatest German Lied composers of the 19th century. His contribution to the art form that is German Lied is expansive, with almost 200 art songs and nearly 100 folk songs and songs written for children, such as lullabies. Brahms is most known for his concept that the poetry in his music typically becomes the secondary feature, giving space for his beautiful melodic lines and harmonic structures to be at the forefront of each performance of his Lied. However, von Ewiger Liebe is one of the exceptions to this rule. The text here plays a major role in the development of this piece and is at more of the forefront than the music. However, the music does play an important role, just not typically as important as it does in most of his other pieces. Through this presentation, I will show how Brahms uses elements in regards to text setting to add an underlying dramatic element to his lieder, using a unique style of text painting. He maintains the basic nature of the text on the surface, however, underneath is a complex structure adding to this dramatic element. And through this presentation, I will be discussing some things as far as text painting and the poetry, things like that. So we begin our discussion with the poetry that Brahms set his music to. The poem is by Hofmann von Fallersleben, and I did line it up. As you can see on the left-hand side here, there is the German text, and on the right-hand side is the English text. And I lined it up side by side, so that way you can see exactly what the translation is while I am discussing it. It's a depiction of two young lovers and sets the scene in the dark depths of a forest, which is a key component given the darker nature of the beginning of their conversation, such as the very first line, Dunkel wie dunkel in Wald und in Feld, which means dark, how dark in forest and field. The man begins by walking the girl back to her home through the forest. And on their way back, he begins having some anxiety and gets anxious about their love. He tells her that if she is shamed by him, that they should no longer be together. The music only adds to the intensification of this text. However, there is a light on the horizon when the woman begins to speak and it transitions to her theme and everything calms down. She tells the young man that their love is eternal and nothing can break it, that it will last forever. This piece is short. It's only about 4.5 minutes long. However, the emotional buildup is grand in design. We will now move on to the score of the piece. The piece in the beginning is set in B minor, and when the woman's entrance begins, it goes into B major. This portion has an ebb and flow to it that mimics that of a journey through the woods. The boys section of the poetry is quite long. However, Brahms extended the girl's portion by adding text that the boy says to the end of the piece to draw out the focus and make the focus more on the ending of the piece, the happy ending, than on the beginning of the piece. The piece is in 3/4, as you can see here highlighted in red, until the girl enters, it turns to 6/8. This piece is modified strophic, because the beginning theme of Dunkel wie dunkel, as highlighted here in red, does return one other time in Kommt aus dem Dorfe down here, but there are modified sections of it in which it comes back, but it is not the same theme. The beginning motif occurs 3 different times in between each of the boys' verses, which is the orange highlighted here and here, as well as here. And you believe at the beginning of the 3rd verse that you are going to get the same idea. However, Brahms shifts to a more aggressive and harsh 8th note rhythm played in the right hand, with the low permeating notes here in the left hand and the high notes here in the right hand. This helps to intensify the text, which is Leidest du Schmach und betrübest du dich, which is when the boy begins to talk about how the girl is ashamed of him. We will now listen to this excerpt to see exactly what happens with the shift in mood at this section.
Kommt aus dem Dorfe
After this section, this does repeat once more, and then it does transition into the interlude theme in between the girl and the boys line as highlighted here in these brackets here, which I will now play a little bit of for you. It is just showing sort of the transition in between the two emotions and the two mental states. So we will now listen to this little transition here. This is when the time signature changes from the 3/4 to the 6/8 as depicted here. From the beginning of the Ziemlich langsam, which actually means fairly slow, the more legato lines and the dolce marking here in the accompaniment show that the girl is much more calm about the entire aspect of their relationship, and that she is secure in the fact that she loves this man no matter what, and that their love will endure forever. So we're now going to listen to just the first little bit of the girls, just so we can hear the differences in between the two sections here. Brahms also incorporated material that was previously used in the beginning, which doesn't come back until the end of this piece here at measure 111. There is a lot of section in this part right here that does reminisce of the very beginning. This Unsere Liebe section here, which is accompanied with a hemiola here at measure 113, which incorporates the 6/8, which is more of the girls' motif, and then the 3/4, which is from the boys' motif. There is one time signature appearing to be in each hand of the piano, so you have the 6/8 in the right hand and then the 3/4 in the left hand, just showing the unification with the couple and a finality about the boy's doubts, and then also the girl's affirmation, securing to him that she loves him no matter what. So we'll now listen to this as part of our final example here. This combination of the two themes at the end here is a great example of the complexity in which Brahms thought out his text setting and musical composition and was able to combine them into this great thing. The texture of this piece changes quite often. However, for the majority, it is only existing to add dimension to the drama behind the story. The accompaniment serves as more of a propeller, pushing everything forward at times in the boys section. However, in the girls section, unifies with her vocal line to show how secure she is about what she is saying. Although Brahms didn't always use text painting in his lied, this piece is a great example of him doing just that. From the first note played, followed by the word dunkel in the lower register, which means dark, this piece is chock full of text painting and musical entendres. I hope you were able to enjoy this piece as much as I have in presenting about it and diving just a little bit deeper into the beauty and wonder of what is Brahms' music settings. Thank you so much.